Bienvenidos, cześć, ciao, hi hi, hello my European friends, and greetings from Trondheim, Norway. With a high standard of living, a focus on an outdoor lifestyle, an employment law that is very much on the side of the employees, there's a lot to love about living in Norway. Moving to Norway is something many people consider for a variety of reasons. How do I know this? Because my articles about relocation are read widely by people all across Europe. I recently made a video about how Americans can move to Norway, and it proved really popular. So now it's the turn of you, my European brothers and sisters. And you'll be pleased to hear it's a much easier process. But just before we get started, please do check out lifeinnorway.net for more on relocation to Norway and all things Norway in English. Is Norway the answer for you? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But keep watching to find out how it might be possible either way. Norway and Europe. First things first, a bit of explanation. Please do stick with me through this as it's important. Norway isn't and has never been a member of the European Union. But Norway is bound by the same freedom of movement rules as EU member states because it's part of the European Economic Area. This means that as a citizen of an EU or EEA country, you have the right to live and work in Norway without needing a visa or a work permit. For clarification, that's the 27 EU members together with the other European Free Trade Association countries. So, in total, that means Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Cyprus, Croatia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. So that's a big advantage for my European friends compared to people from other parts of the world. In fact, approximately 370,000 of Norway's 5.5 million population are living here through this agreement. That's almost 40% of all the immigrants living in Norway today. However, that doesn't mean you can just pack your bags, book a plane ticket, show up and expect everything to fall into place. There are a series of steps you need to take to ensure you do everything by the book. Now, I must talk briefly about the UK. As you can probably hear from my accent, I am originally from the UK. And even though I moved to Norway in 2011 and now hold one of these, a Norwegian passport, I am still a British citizen as well. Now, when I moved to Norway in 2011, these rules actually applied to me. But if you're British and watching this now, they no longer do. Since Brexit completed, the UK is no longer a member of the EEA, so that means British citizens after Brexit have lost the right to live and work in Norway under these streamlined rules. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to make a video on how things work for British citizens today. The Nordic countries. Let's start with a brief look at moving to Norway from the other Nordic countries. Now that's Denmark, including Greenland and the Faroe Islands, Finland, including Åland, Iceland, and of course, Sweden. Now, if you are a citizen of one of these countries, you are free to move to Norway. You just need to register your move with the National Population Register. If you intend to stay in Norway for longer than 6 months, you'll need to visit the tax office to get a tax ID number. And that's it. It's easy. EU and EEA countries. As an EU or EEA citizen, you have the right to stay in Norway for up to 3 months with no registration or visa required at all. You are allowed to stay in Norway for longer under these rules if you fall into one of these categories. You have a job, you're looking for a job, you're self-employed, you're a full-time student, or you have enough funds to support yourself. Close family members, such as a partner or a young child, have the same rights. Now, if you meet these requirements, the police will issue you with a registration certificate, and that's it. Welcome to Norway. You only need to register once, and you don't need to notify the police of a change in circumstances, as long as you still have a basis for the right of residence. So, for example, if you register as a student and then you get a full-time job, it's all good. Now let's take a quick look in a bit more depth at each of these categories. Employment. You simply need to prove you have a job in Norway. If you lose your job, you can stay in Norway for up to 6 months to look for another, as long as you register as a job seeker. If you lost a job you've had for at least a year, then there's no time limit. Job seeker. You can register as a job seeker, which gives you up to 6 months to find a job in Norway before you would be required to leave. If you do find a job within that 6 months, then you can register using the employed category. Self-employment. You must plan to engage in long-term business activities in Norway, and this must be through a sole proprietorship registered in Norway. Students. Students here in Norway on a full-time course of study are welcome to use this registration scheme too. Full-time students are able to work during their stay, but they must have a European health insurance card or private health insurance. Own funds. You are also able to use this scheme if you have your own funds and you're not reliant on needing to work in Norway. However, this is a bit of a misunderstood category, so listen up. Norway defines financial independence as having a documented income of at least 158,000 Norwegian kroner per year at the time of making this video. An important point, to register under this category, you must have private health insurance. Or if you're moving here under this category for retirement, then you'll need an S1 certificate from the country you receive a pension from that shows you're entitled to healthcare. Family members. As a general rule, anyone registering under this scheme is also entitled to bring their close family members with them. But of course, there is a lot of detail here. If you have a family member who has registered as an EU EEA national in Norway, you can also register under this family category. But in this case, your family member must be able to support you. The exact criteria of what family means depends on whether the person living in Norway is registered as a student, employed, self-employed, or has their own funds. When a family member registers under this scheme, they are entitled to work in Norway too. The future. When I moved to Norway under these rules back in 2011, I never thought about the need to firm up my residence. I never thought I would need to. But then Brexit happened. So as Brexit unfolded, I began to look at permanent residency and citizenship. Both of these are options open to EU and EEA citizens. For most people, a permanent right of residence can be applied for after 5 years. But it's citizenship that I went for. To become a citizen of Norway, people who have registered under these European regulations need to have lived in Norway for at least 6 or 8 years, depending on your circumstances. Other requirements include fluency in the Norwegian language, especially spoken Norwegian, and passing a citizenship test. Next steps. So those are the ways that European citizens can move to Norway. It's pretty easy, right? It's not an exhaustive list, but I have covered the main ways that European citizens move to Norway. If you want to register as living in Norway under these European regulations, you'll need to make an appointment with the police to register and with the tax office to get a D number or a national ID number. This number is pretty much key to everything you need to do in Norway, from opening a bank account to getting access to digital solutions and signing a lease, such as on a house or a place to live. In the big cities, there is a foreign workers office where you can do all this in one place. This makes it so much easier. Information on how to get started with the process, together with full details on everything I've talked about today, is available on the website of the Norwegian Directorate of Immigration, UDI. That's udi.no. Just hit Want to Apply to get started. If you're serious about moving to Norway, please make sure you visit the country first and spend some time getting to know your potential new home beyond the tourist trail. From the historic cities to the beauty of the Norwegian fjords, watch this video next for my recommendations on the very best places to visit in Norway during your trip. And as always, thanks for watching.